welcome to the world premiere of the True Gamer Podcast, a podcast hosted by two of your gamers for you, the True Gamers. That's right. I'm one of your hosts, Eddie, along with my bro, the inverted gamer himself, Sheps. How's it going, bro?
It's going good. How's it going?
Everyone now knows that you're an inverted gamer.
Inverted master race. That's right.
Is it
That's
really?
Right.
Yeah, okay.
Represent.
Right. Let him know how terrible he is on Twitter, everyone. Yeah, so this is a brand new gaming podcast, guys, by the Conbrosations, guys. It's a brand new thing we started here. This was actually made possible by our bros over on patreon.com.
Yes,
you guys are the ones that helped us make this possible. The way that we're going to be doing this, just to give you guys a little information for the first time, for the first show that we're doing here, this is going to be replacing our daily videos for this week particularly. So whenever we're going to do the gaming podcast, there'll be none of the daily videos. There'll be a podcast, and we're going to replace those daily videos with what you guys have been asking for, what you guys all said on the survey you guys took. Gaming streams, stuff that you guys really, really want.
This is kind of a throwback, actually, because when we decided to come back onto YouTube, we basically said we'll film it as a podcast, do 3 topics, and split into 3 videos.
We did, yeah.
And so this is literally sort of the exact same thing they're getting, just in one upload as a podcast instead of 3 separate things.
Yeah.
It's good as well because the videos there's some kind of time constraint for them. Yeah. So we can talk a bit more in detail about this stuff, which will be good fun.
That's the thing that I was missing the most, is that while we do the daily videos we do, those are great, but we don't get to go into the right details, and then we don't get to have the banter that we talk and whatnot. Well, we do have some banter, but not as much as I would like. So I thought this would be a great place to do that. Anyway, talking about this podcast and being available and being an actual thing because of the bros who have helped us out on Patreon, we need to say thank you to our super bros, don't we?
We do. There are some guys over on Patreon. There are some guys over on patreon.com/conversations. I got that in the first take. Totally didn't mess that up. So our super bros, Conrad, Diogo, Saki, Record Friction, and Casper, a new super bro.
Yes, a new super bro. Thank you, bros, so much for supporting us over there. It's because of bros like you and other ones that are helping us out on Patreon, supporting us everywhere on YouTube with the likes, and then on Patreon, on podcast services, around the world and stuff like that.
True.
Because of you guys, we've managed to make this thing. And also, we're doing like 5 podcast style series now.
It is a lot.
Diogo mentioned it the other day when I announced it. He was like, "Oh my god, you guys are like doing 5 things now." And we're like, "Wait, movie club, anime club, True Gamer podcast, the Conbrosations podcast, and the daily videos."
There's a few bits of content right there.
It's a bit of content, yeah. But that's all because you guys support us and believe in us so much that we've managed to do this.
And speaking of our loyal patrons,
yes,
for the low price of just $5 a month,
yes,
we have some special thanks.
We have some special thanks to our true gamers out there. We made another tier for the true gamers, and those people are
Record Friction, Saki, Conrad, Diogo, Casper, Zahir, Max, Dan, Alex, Adam, Furious Coco, and Fishy.
Damn right. I can't believe Fishy's on there. That's
well, he knows quality when he sees it.
He does. That's what it is. He saw those as always, guys, and he was like, no, sir. Sir. Conbrosations.
Talking of Fishy.
Yes.
Because this is actually really important to me, because he's in the family.
Yeah.
Fishy's mum just beat the final boss of the Big C. Yeah. She just had her last radiotherapy, I think it was. So if everybody could go over to Ethan's Instagram, it'll be the first link before anything else. It's really important. Mm-hmm. Whatever his most current post is, just congratulate his mum.
Give him loads of love, everything.
For real.
Because that is a fucking huge achievement.
Yeah. So it's a big deal to us, because Fishy's literally genuinely a bro.
He's such a bro. He's a family now.
So we will link his Instagram. His most recent post, just give his mum a bit of congrats.
Yes.
Doesn't matter what the fucking post's about. Even if it's about Assassin's Creed, who cares?
He's posted another picture of his dog Dennis, and you're just like, congrats, mum, for beating that last boss battle.
But it deserves attention. It's fucking awesome. So let's get into the podcast.
Yes, let's get into the podcast. So, because this is the first one, it's going to be mainly about all the stuff that we mentioned that we was going to talk about regarding the Xbox One X and a couple of other rumors that have surfaced. But just yesterday, it was almost like a dump truck of gaming news just came along and was like, and here you go, after fucking months of nothing.
It felt like with World War III kicking off in January, and then like Super Ebola kicking off in February, and all this stuff, that everybody's just like, let's just hang on to our news. And then it's like, oh, it looks like we're not all going to die. Cool, just
No problem.
Dump it. There you go.
They were like, March. Let's make March about good things rather than World War III and coronavirus.
Right, exactly.
Let's do that. Anyway, so let's talk about those things first of all. First of all, we got a trailer and a release date for the upcoming PlayStation exclusive by Sucker Punch, Ghost of Tsushima.
Yes, we did.
Now, that is coming out on June 26th, 2020. Just over 3 months away. How fucking cool is that?
It looks really good as well. It looks really
phenomenal.
good.
Phenomenal.
And especially, it's good to have things to look forward to because this year looked to be shaping up like another 2019.
Yeah.
Where it was just like very slow and then a couple bangers near the end. And, you know, with Cyberpunk getting pushed back and The Last of Us getting pushed back and all this stuff, it was looking like, maybe a wobbly year. But I'm really glad to see. The trailer looks good. It reminds me a lot of Ninja Gaiden. Did you ever play that? Ninja Gaiden?
No, I think it's Ninja Gaiden. I think I heard of it. I've never played it.
That was good fun. It looks like all those older PlayStation Ninja / Samurai games that I used to play in just a more modern version of things that isn't going to be Dark Souls. Like, what was that game that came out? Was it last year? And everyone was playing. It was super difficult.
Demon Souls, Dark Souls, or Bloodborne?
It's a game similar to that.
One
had
of
a
those
similar
ones,
Japanese feel to it, and it's just like
Sekiro. Sorry, Sekiro. That was it.
That's it. And
from the same guys who made Bloodborne.
Yeah. And while I appreciate games like that, I like that there are games out there that don't pander to the audience, that don't pander to the masses. Where if you beat it, it's an achievement.
Yeah.
But especially with the amount of time I have to play currently, I just want a game where like. I've been streaming the COD Modern Warfare campaign.
Yeah,
I did one stream of it. I need to continue.
I was going to say, I'm streaming. I did one.
I know, yeah, I did one. And that was like 2 weeks ago. And for some reason, Diogo was just like, play it on Veteran. I was like, fuck it, whatever, right? Like, I'm a gamer. I can play it on Veteran. But it just slowed things down so much. And then at the end, I was like, do you know what? Fuck you, Diogo. I'm not going to play it on Veteran because I want to get through the story. Yeah. And I'm not looking to beat a game. I'm looking to play the story, you know. So I dropped it down like a one above regular. Just because...
I think Diogo might have been the one also told me to play Uncharted on Crushing. If he did, I'm going to fucking kill that guy because... Motherfucker! Diogo, you're a super bro, but Jesus Christ.
Like, this is the thing. We're both gamers. We can play on higher difficulties, but if it's a game where the point of the game is to beat the game, I'm down.
Yeah.
If it's a game where, like The Last of Us, grounded isn't fun. It's just too much.
It's something that, because famously I played on Grounded after I beat the game, but it was well after actually. I think I got it. I got the remastered version, and I was like, all right, cool, no problem. Let it go away. Played some other games, and I was like, I feel like going back into The Last of Us. Grounded. That's interesting. Let me play it on that, and everything was just painful. I have 4 bullets the entire game, half a dirty rag that was made from some boxes.
You find some boxes with a skid mark, and you're like, I'm rich!
Rich! Oh my god, I'm so rich! That's exactly what it felt like.
It's too much. It doesn't so much add to the immersion as it just adds to frustration, and that's not how what I'm about. Unless it's a game like Sekiro, where the point is that it's difficult.
Yes.
So I'm looking forward to have because I skipped Sekiro because of that. So I'm looking forward to Ghost of Tsushima because it looks really good, and I don't know. It's cool. It looks like a cool story. It looks like you can have fun being a samurai, but not get destroyed by, eight-eyed bosses and shit.
I'm into it because it's Sucker Punk. The last game was Infamous Second Son, right?
Yes. That was a great game.
It's so fucking fantastic. And this is their next game. And on top of that, it's the later part of the generation. So everyone's figured out the consoles and how to squeeze everything. And by the looks of it as well.
That was in-game.
The trailer, yeah, exactly. That was all, for those of you guys that don't know, the people that can't tell, that was all in-game engine. You can tell sometimes by, like, if there's something fluttering on, like, a character and it goes through the character model a little bit, that's because mistakes happen.
It's an in-game thing. Yeah.
Exactly, and because it's in-game, mistakes happen like that. And I was like, my God, this is gorgeous.
It looks really good.
Really good. Anyway, so these guys are very talented. I'm excited to see what happens. People like Alex have been messaging me saying, this is genuinely my pick for Game of the Year.
It could well be.
Could well be.
And I'm actually, as it turns out, I'm kind of a history nerd, and I really enjoy Mongol history.
Yeah.
And so I like that they're the villains, and they're a great villain to have as...
Have you watched that TV show? What's the one with in the Mongol? It's a
Marco
Netflix...
Polo.
Marco Polo. That's
really good.
You've watched it, and I think you told me about it because you're such a big fan of that era and whatnot.
It's great. It's really good.
I've only watched a couple episodes. I should watch it.
It is really good. Before we move on,
Yeah.
because this is a True Gamer podcast,
Yes.
you can now pick up Infamous Second Son for like pennies.
Yes.
If you're in need of a game, play that.
Yeah.
It's so cheap these days, and it's so much fun. And it's got that weird GTA thing. Like, once you beat the game, you can... Where GTA, you sort of drive around getting 5 stars or obeying traffic laws. This, you find yourself sort of like a Spider-Man game, just webbing around.
Yeah.
It's the exact same thing, except you're like fire boosting and stuff. It's so much fun. You should definitely pick it up. If you find it for... I'd say... It's probably under a $5 now.
Probably. I'll have to do if I can Google search on this thing, but I'm sure it's really...
It's got a good story. It's a fun IP. So it's fun to run around as a superhero, basically, but you can kind of... You're not full, like, bound to being a superhero, you know?
£2, £6, sorry,
£6. It's worth it.
There you go,
easily.
definitely
It's
worth
a ton
it.
of game for that. There's some DLC that's good fun.
The Last
all
Light
that stuff
one,
with is it
Or
Flick?
First Light.
Flit or Fleck or something? The chick that sort of has
Begins with an F, yeah.
She's fun.
The neon powers she's got.
It looks great. It's actually a surprisingly good story.
Yeah.
For £6, you should definitely pick up. I thought we'd chuck that in as something you could do today if you really, really wanted to.
That's a True Gamer podcast recommendation for you right there. Let's move on to our next little bit of news that popped up yesterday that was actually fantastic.
Yep.
A Last of Us series is in the works by HBO in cooperation with PlayStation's movie production studio they've got. From the people that made Chernobyl, creator Craig Mazin and Neil Druckmann, the guy that wrote The Last of Us. How fucking fantastic is this?
I came out on Twitter.
Yeah.
And I got ahead of the game on this, and I voiced my deepest concerns about ruining this. Mm-hmm. And I said it would be...
You are negative straight away? It's odd.
Despite being insanely excited by this news, I wanted to get out ahead of it and get this stuff out there and say, like, it's my belief, if you make The Last of Us as a show and it's bad, you would be better off sinking the entire budget into it, making it, doing all the prep, all the marketing, realising it was shit and scrapping it, than bringing it out.
Damaging the IP.
Yeah, it would be so bad. That would be such a bad move. And as a fan base, we'd rip you apart.
Yeah, definitely.
You would never hear the end of it.
Especially because Last of Us is regarded as almost perfect to everyone else in the world.
It is a brilliant game. It's a brilliant story. Look, I love The Last of Us. The gameplay... limited. There's like 4 enemies.
Yes, yeah.
But other than that, I love the game and it is basically perfect. Now, somebody tweeted at me saying... Okay, Mr. Moody.
Yeah.
He said...
he's a bro of the show, by the way. He does his own movie podcast as well. So if you want to know about solid movie, proper movie connoisseur stuff, you need to go follow him, Mr. Moody. What's his full at?
It's Mr. Glorious One.
Yeah, Mr. Glorious One. Go check him out. Yeah.
So he said, how would the TV show damage the games? You'll always have the memories of playing them through the first time and loving the characters and the world. If the show sucks, there's nothing damaging about it. It will just get forgotten about and we'll still have the amazing games. Mm-hmm. The reason I don't want the show to suck, apart from the fact that I'm insanely excited for it, and we'll come on to that, is that if someone ever brings up The Last of Us in discussion, and we had the 2 amazing games, we presume The Last of Us 2 is going to be amazing.
We presume, yeah.
That I don't want to have to say, the game's amazing, but don't bother with the show. You can't ever fully detach yourself from it if they bring out something that sucks, and that's what I don't want to have happen. Now,
go ahead.
I am insanely excited for it, and I shared something on my Instagram, which was a post about that this show's basically already been... The duo's been basically cast in live before.
Go ahead.
With Logan.
Holy crap.
Yeah. It's basically the same story.
The girl and Logan, and they look exactly the same as what you were Joel and Ellie.
Pretty much.
The story's the same too.
Barring zombies.
Barring zombies.
Yeah.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
She's got like an amazing ability. They're after her and whatnot.
Yep. He's the old, has seen too much.
Jesus Christ!
Looks at her as like as a chore to have to deal with.
Can we cast Hugh Jackman and the little girl to play Joel and Ellie?
Boys,
HBO,
head over to HBO and to Hugh Jackman. We're gonna at those guys.
Oh Jesus Christ!
In fact, I might have to tweet that and see if we can't get this going.
Yes, start something, right?
Right, because it's just so good. By the way, can we do Logan for Movie Club?
Oh,
because I'm going to come out and say this, a bit of spoilers. it is my opinion. We spoke about this earlier, actually, that we have only had one Wolverine movie, and it was Logan.
Yep.
In all the other movies, we saw glimpses of Wolverine, but we never really got to experience like Wolverine properly. And what was most disappointing is I knew Hugh Jackman was the right guy, but he never got to play Wolverine until we got to Logan, which was the end of him wanting to play Wolverine.
Yeah.
So
we got that, and that. I would love to do that for Movie Club. I think that's a really good one. About this though, I was kind of like you actually at the beginning when I was thinking about, oh, is this going to be bad? Because we've had movies of video games that turn out to be terrible, and we've got the Uncharted movie that's coming up that's had lost 17 directors, but apparently is now shooting in 2 weeks.
This is already further ahead than that. I bet they don't get to shooting. There'll apparently, be something.
Antonio Banderas is playing a character in the Uncharted movie as well. That's a new movie.
It's been star-studded for a while. It's just the fact that they can't get it off the ground.
It's like, and we're going to shoot, no, director's gone.
Right.
And we're going to shoot again, no, another director's gone.
Rolling! Where's the director?
He's just disappeared somewhere. Anyway, I was thinking we've had movies that turn out to be terrible. So like Tomb Raider, famously, it's not the same as the game.
One, though.
Yeah, the more recent one, but it's not the game, right? It's
Where's my triangle-titted bitch?
Exactly. They're very, very different things.
Flying velociraptors and shit.
Right?
Yeah.
And we've got Spider-Man movie, and only recently we've had a Spider-Man game that works. I think it works the other way, where you can make a game of a movie, but we don't have it the other way around working.
I feel you.
We have, however, had TV shows. So I know this is going to be weird because it started from a book and then it went to a game, but The Witcher recently went from the book to, technically it's based on the book, but the game. Yes, the game is what drove the popularity up for them to go, why don't we make a TV show of this?
Yeah.
And I think it's purely because of time. With a game, you get over 10 hours worth of content. With a movie, it's an hour and a half, 2 hours, and you're done. See you later.
Also, movies really suffer from cuts.
Yes.
Perfect example, Batman vs. Superman.
Yeah.
Actually an alright movie if you watch the extended version. There's about 5 minutes.
True cinema, that movie. When you add that 5 minutes on there. Is it Martin Scorsese said it himself?
But there is about 5 minutes split across 3 different scenes, I think it is, that with those extra few seconds, suddenly the motivations make more sense. It doesn't
Context, everything.
It's not suddenly the best movie you've ever seen, but with a little bit more context, it makes sense why things are developing the way they are. And because of saving 5 minutes or whatever it is, that little cut, because like you said, there are those time constraints, they suffer heavily. So I'm with you. I guess that a TV show could do it, but we've had a similar version of this, which was The Walking Dead. And The Walking Dead had, even the first couple seasons, which are largely agreed to be some of the better ones, they still suffered. Like the ending to season 1 is garbage.
The thing with Walking Dead, though, is that while it is the whole point of these like zombie TV shows, zombie movies and stuff like that is because of you're following the people and what they do in these situations, which is arguably what The Last of Us is all about. You don't really care about the clickers. They're dangerous, but you're really caring about what the people are doing. All of their motivations, literally all of their motivations are based on the zombies that are out there in The Walking Dead.
Yeah.
In The Last of Us, I don't think it's anything like that. So that's why I think this could be better.
It'll be difficult because we know The Last of Us has known points that it has to hit, right? So they have to know going into it how many seasons they're going to make.
Yeah.
Like I would rather they say we are only making 2 seasons, they're 6 episodes a pop, and it will end before the end of the game.
I was going to ask you 2 questions. One, how do you feel about it being the guy who made Chernobyl, which was a limited run thing? It was 1 season, bang, done, make a great story and get out, which is what we think it should be, I guess. And also, when do you think this takes place? Do you think it's the first game? Technically, we already know the story there. But
I think so.
I think it's worth it, right?
I also think The Last of Us hit everything on the head. The same with my brother, who knows a lot about film and storytelling and stuff, and I've told him millions of times he needs to make a YouTube channel where he dissects stories and stuff because, and I'm not joking, and I would probably never say this to his face, but he has mastered this skill. He understands storytelling and filmmaking and stuff in a way that the average Joe just doesn't. Like there's been plenty of times where I came out of a movie that we watched together, I'm like, I don't know why, but I didn't like it. And he'll just dissect it. He'll be like, the movie... This, and this. There was this, there was the writing. There are no character arcs. The score doesn't make sense. It doesn't fit with the tone of the the pacing's off, blah blah. And I was like, oh well, yeah, that's it.
Now it makes sense.
And he was saying there are just a couple of stories that always work, in the West anyway, that we just love. That's a boy and his dog, and a father and son, or father and kid.
Yeah.
Right. So
this is gonna be father.
The Last of Us and God of War 4. The distant father figure with kid that's being a bit unruly, and they grow together. It's just an unbeatable mix. It's exactly what we want to see.
Yeah.
And I think that's what made The Last of Us, the first one, so brilliant. And that is actually the thing that worries me the most about The Last of Us 2, because how are they going to work in the father-daughter mechanic?
I think they can still work.
I'm sure they can. Yeah.
They're fucking fantastic over there. Neil Druckmann writing has been proven many, many times and whatnot. And that's also a reason why I'm really excited about this, because the guy who wrote the story for the game is the guy who's going to be writing it for this. So
I agree.
They didn't go, all right, we've got your idea. Do you mind if you make our own adaptation of that? Because that wouldn't work.
So just to take this to the last step that I would, for, say, the God of War games, the worst thing I think you could do would be to have Atreus grow up. I think that's the number one mistake that could be made in these games.
Limited growth, or do you limit completely? More?
I don't want to end up. No, he should grow up a bit.
I was gonna say I could see him as a teenager, but nothing more.
Growing into those teenage years, a bit of rebellion. He goes off on his own, realizes what he's missed, and comes back. That sort of thing. What I don't want is an adult Atreus and an adult Kratos. It's not the mechanic we want to see. I
feel you there.
I
feel you.
But
the next game after the tease that was at the end, spoiler for those of you guys who haven't played the best 2018 game, arguably the best game of this generation,
one of the best storytelling.
The bit at the end, the bit at the end with Thor coming back, that was in the same time that we played the game in. So the next game probably isn't going to be too far ahead. But go ahead,
yeah. I hope. But the thing is, a game, it wouldn't be too difficult to say they've been on the run for 10 years from Thor, right? They're gods.
It's not like he ages very much. Well, he ages a little bit, but not a lot.
And so it would be easy enough to have Atreus grow up, quote-unquote grow up. And I think that's from a storytelling mechanic perspective, that would be a terrible thing to do. It would make sense for his power and stuff, but that's not what we want to see. And as much as I liked Atreus, I'm in it to kill shit as Kratos.
Yeah. I will say something. There was people that were like, "Oh, wouldn't it be cool to have?" After Witcher came out on Netflix, they were like, "Wouldn't it be cool to have other games to come out like that?"
No.
And when they said God of War, I was like, in fact, Cory Borlog said God of War, and I was like, we both said
that's the worst show for it.
I don't think that would work.
That wouldn't work.
And I was just thinking right now, after playing God of War 4, the 2018 one, who could possibly voice
You
Kratos?
have to have Christopher Judge.
Christopher Judge just comes up, you're like, straight away, done. It has to be him, no one else.
I'm cool with making Kratos black. I don't care, right?
Cool. He's going to be covered in paint anyway.
Yeah.
He's whiter than snow.
Well, so that, I suppose you could. I would actually just make him black, personally.
I think they'd have to keep it for the aesthetic. That's the only reason. But I wouldn't care whether he's black, white, Asian. Doesn't matter.
The race doesn't matter. I just think that casting Christopher Judge and then white facing him. Do you know what I mean?
I get what you mean.
I feel like that's even.
It's okay when it's the other way around. It can't be the other way around.
Exactly. Everybody's okay with blackface. It's just whiteface that no one can stand. No. So I just think you're stepping on mines.
We need to get a quote. Someone needs to make that as a meme with Sheps' face with his thumbs up like that. It's like blackface, no. Blackface is okay. Whiteface, no.
Exactly. No one will accept it. But who do you cast? Because Christopher Judge actually looks a surprising amount like Kratos, barring the fact that he's not a Greek god.
That's the thing. He's fucking jacked, this guy.
He's jacked and he sounds perfect. When I heard that was Christopher Judge, my God, wait, okay, yes. Yeah, I get it.
Also, I fucking, everyone's seen this. It's like the 2-hour documentary of, was it Making Kratos, something like that.
Yeah, so good.
And there's the video of him behind the scenes, and that he's a fucking true actor, this guy.
Yeah,
he probably gets into them, and there's moments where he's crying on set, and I'm like, whoa.
And then has to stand up and T-pose.
Yeah, that's the funniest thing in game design. If you guys haven't seen this documentary, watch it.
It's so good.
It's like they have this touching moment. Someone's just died in front of them. They're really letting out tears to sell this performance, and then they're like, all right, end of scene, everyone T-pose, and they're like,
stands up crying. See, we don't have the video going. You forgot. But they stand up, still tears rolling and stuff, and they go into a T-pose. And it's... Have you ever seen what it looks like if you're a developer, from the developer's point of view, watching a scene play out in games?
Well, like the stick figure.
So I saw a thing for The Last of Us, and it's to do with things like how much of the game is rendered at any one time. So I saw the first scene in The Last of Us, because we were talking about The Last of Us, where Sarah comes down the stairs and Joel wakes up. They kill that one guy, and then Tommy arrives.
Right.
And outside the house, the whole time in that first scene, the whole time, from when you wake up as Sarah, Tommy's outside T-posed. Because it's easier for some reason to have him in the scene instead of render him in. It takes too much stuff.
I guess it would be like to avoid accidentally the textures didn't get loaded on him or something like that. So it's preloaded, waiting for you. That's
so what's really strange is you see, like, this bird's eye view camera going around the house of like this thing burst in. Outside, just Tommy's just there T-posing like a creeper. Man, it's so freaky.
I've seen that thing. So they call it, like hacking the camera in the game so you can go around it. Someone recently, and I think Cory Borlog tweeted this out as well, like retweeted or something. Someone hacked it in God of War, and the initial fight where him, Kratos, and the... What's the guy's name? The bad guy's name?
Oh, God.
Loki. No, not Loki.
Oh, God.
Baldur,
yeah.
Baldur, yeah.
That's it.
They're having their fight and whatnot, and he throws him off into the chasm next to him. Yeah. After the body goes down a little bit...
someone followed it.
Someone followed it. And it's just basically his legs are spread out like in sort of like a split pose, and his arms are just both middle fingers like that pointing towards the front like that. I'm like, that's cool.
Brilliant.
No one would have seen that. You'd have to get someone to hack the game, to hack the camera in order to see that Easter egg.
That's brilliant. And that's why I love gaming and game devs and stuff, because they put stuff in there. There's no way anyone would ever see that, except because some nerd wanted to see it. What happens when someone gets thrown off a cliff? I wonder. The really creepy thing is when someone leaves, like, "Oh, see you later, John. I'm just going to go to the docks to get the thing," and they shut the door. And then if you see outside, they just stood there T-posed. It's so creepy, man. It is one of those things where sometimes you don't want to know how the sausage is made,
Sometimes, yeah. But then that one time, like God of War, it would just be like,
exactly,
it paid off.
It definitely... So
how do you feel about this? What's your final thought on that?
I think it needs to be high quality limited. So I think 1, maybe 2 seasons, 6 episodes a pop.
I think they could do that. I think it's going to be like you said, about 6 episods, high quality, like you said. It's the very first...
Kind of like The Witcher. Track The Witcher as much as you can.
I think it's the very first. As I said, production from PlayStation Productions. I think it is their TV studio they made a long time ago. I hope they do something great with this, but the problem is, if they do it limited, then do you think they do one for The Last of Us Part 2 when that comes out in like a year down the line?
I don't know. Maybe you don't. Maybe you leave people wanting stuff.
True.
I do believe that it's better for example, if this show sucks, that will be terrible. I think it would be better to have 2 great games, and we wish we got a show that they talked about and never made. Rather,
wouldn't we have wished you got that? All right, no problem.
Right. Rather than having 2 great games and then getting a crappy show. That's my opinion on it.
I think it's set up to be amazing. There's so
many other great IPs from Sony that they could, the Sony studio could make. Like Uncharted would be a good one to work as a series as well.
I think we said about that though. It's basically Indiana Jones.
Yeah, or National Treasure.
National Treasure. Yeah, but
they're great.
I think the reason why they're starting with this, and maybe the reason why it only could work with this, is because this is the less of all of the Sony IP exclusives that isn't fantastical. So like all the other ones are like, okay, we've got like Horizon Zero Dawn. We said would be amazing.
It would be great.
Robot dinosaurs would be fantastic.
Bit of an ask.
It's a bit much.
Yeah.
Any other one, Kratos, God of War, for example, it's all mythological creatures.
I'll tell you what though, thinking of Horizon Zero Dawn, if someone came to me and said we want you to make 2 seasons for Horizon Zero Dawn, I would do the same thing, about 6 episodes a season. I don't think you wouldn't see anything high tech. You would think it was a caveman show. Until like the last few minutes of episode 5.
Yeah.
That's how I would run season 1. It would be like a caveman show. They got to run away from the thing. We've been out hunting. What are the dynamics? Fighting with another tribe. And then suddenly... But then every now and again you get a close-up of the spears. And the spears have some weird stuff on them, but never mind. It's probably just a mistake.
Yeah,
from the
you're just like,
set guys.
weird looking thing right there. It looks kind of advanced to them, but whatever.
And then maybe you see like animal eyes in the night, but if you look closely, if someone was to zoom in, it wouldn't be animal eye reflections. Do you know what I mean? It'd be stuff like that.
Do you know what? That would be so great. The only thing is that fucking TV show doesn't work like that. They have to make a pilot, and they have to essentially all the best pilots that go on. You've seen them. They're like they have to show what they're going to be doing throughout the entire season in that first episode. At least a tease, so they can get people going.
I think you would, over the course of a few things, you would tease things. Like you'd have some very well thought out shots, like of someone eating on a tank. You know, they're eating their thing, looking like a caveman. And unless you really analyse the picture, you wouldn't know what it was. It just looked like a weird thing they were sat on, you know?
I just thought of the best way that you could tease it without actually showing any like full-on dinosaurs going around, stuff like that. At the end of the episode 1, it's sort of like this old woman, sort of tribeswoman and whatnot, speaking in a weird language, someone translating or something like that, showing cave drawings and stuff like that in a really sort of dark, sort of like with a torch and whatnot, fire torch. And then it's like, these are what roamed the earth, this is what happens, this is what happened time ago, explaining the history of what happened to the earth and what, or what they know at least anyway, in the basic way. And then very like right at the end, she sort of like lifts up like a cloth or something like that, and there's like the head of one of the robo dinosaurs that's just been severed off, and that's just it for like the next 2 episodes.
Banging.
And I'm like, yes! I want to see more.
Exactly.
I'm in it. I'm in it right there.
Exactly.
Oh boy!
But then
you
would
never show it.
Exactly, and then you wouldn't see one of those things really moving. But suddenly you could have some sound effects of like robotic sounds. You know, like I think it could be done. I think
and it sets up a lot because the story is always like, no, you can't go out there because that's where like all of this is. Right. This is where the tribe are. This is where we're gonna. Let's stay here. Yeah. And then after in the 3rd episode, she goes, "Oh my god, we fucking figured it out. We figured out this HBO show.
Yeah.
We figured out a Horizon Zero Dawn show." Guys, hire us.
Right, hire us.
I should mention, because we did mention about the video thing because of the middle fingers and all. This show was supposed to be video in the original plan of it. But because you guys know from our movie club and stuff like that, the camera turns off every like half an hour.
Yeah.
We are going to look into getting a different camera or sorting that out or doing something. But for now, we're going to keep this audio only. Yeah, and the plan is to go to video one day.
I think it's more important, especially for something longer format podcast style, that we keep the flow as smooth as possible, and having to like stop, reset up the camera, make sure everything's still in shot. Are we recording? Yes. Sync the file,
and then also go, okay, what were we talking about again? You guys have seen the edits we do. I do sometimes.
Sometimes you know those cuts are forgotten, and we can't remember where we started, so we have to say the whole thing over again to get back into the flow. It's just easier, and it's gonna forget easier. It's more about having a better quality product.
Exactly. We keep talking and we keep bouncing off each other and keep it going. But one day it is a plan to go to video. We just need to have a look at the camera, and hopefully it doesn't cost an arm and a fucking leg.
It might do, man.
Because apparently there's a huge tax on like video cameras.
There's something to do with the I think it's the boundaries for what's considered what, and the taxes go up massively when it's a video recorder or whatever. Yeah. So that's why we use a camera.
Thank God we're out of the EU, that we can stop worrying about all these EU taxes.
Thing is, it's something like 38 minutes. If it records for any longer than 38 minutes, it's considered a camcorder, not a camera.
37 minutes. Oh no, that's a photographer's camera. Right. That's a photograph.
It's ridiculous.
Anyway, that's the stuff there. So that was the big news that came out. I have a couple of other topics, and I want you to pick the very first one that we talk about.
Okay.
So you have an option of a very slight rumour of there being possibly...
I'm down. Yes.
You want to go for that one?
Let's do it.
All right, let's go for that one. You heard it, guys.
I have something for you. Okay, so the total aside.
Go on.
There was some released shots of Batman standing next to the Batmobile.
Oh, yes.
How do you feel about that?
Fucking fantastic. So the thing is that at first I was like, I don't know, it's different. It's not the Tumbler, even though we've said before the Tumbler isn't really a Batmobile.
The Tumbler isn't a Batmobile. As much as it's cool, it doesn't make sense for it to drive on roofs and stuff. It is cool, although it's not my... I want... You know Batman and Robin?
Yeah.
The proper Batmobile. That's what I see in my head. It doesn't make any sense. It's not as useful. It will be a bitch to drive. That's what I want to see.
Right.
You know?
But this Batmobile looks very, very cool.
It looks like a good mix between the two, for sure. Although, so Rob...
I like the big ass. I like the big ass.
I do like a big ass. The Rob, a friend of the show, sent me. We were texting last night or WhatsApping or whatever, and so it's that the base of what they made that car out of is called a trophy truck. If you want to YouTube trophy trucks, they're pretty insane. They race these things through Baja and stuff.
Right.
So it looks cool. He didn't like it, and he kept sending me stuff saying, "Oh, this thing's stupid, blah blah," and I kept going like, "Well, I'm just loving it more and more, right?"
Yeah. This is making it better for me.
But he made this really interesting argument. And since he said it, I can't unthink it. So how do you feel about the car?
I like it, yeah.
You like it?
Yeah, I like it a lot, yeah.
Rob said,
Yeah.
there's no way Batman drives that. Batman drives a Tesla. And as soon as I heard it, I thought, that's ridiculous.
Yeah,
and then
that's ridiculous.
He started laying out his case.
Go on.
And he's like, it's silent. And he's all about stealth. It gets 100% power the second that he needs it.
Yeah.
He's a billionaire, so he can modify the batteries so they don't like explode and become perma-fire if they get any damage. So we can make something. I think he even said, look, if I just tell you it's made from vibranium, who cares, right?
Yeah.
And the more he said it, I'm like, well, of course, that's all Bruce Wayne / Batman. Of course, that's what Batman.
Especially because it's going to be full of tech, right?
It's full of tech. You know, there's proper, not like a Tesla like you and I might be able to buy, but like a Tesla that Batman makes.
Modded to hell.
Like,
yeah.
And the more he said it, the more he was talking about it, I was like, well, I still like this truck, but you're right.
He should have a Tesla.
Clearly, that's what Batman drives.
Yeah.
Clearly. Obviously. Fuck. And it just really took the wind out of my sails because I was like, I really like it and I like the exposed engine and stuff visually. It doesn't make any sense. If you were Batman, you'd be like, here, shoot this thing.
Here, my engine's all exposed.
Big flashing arrows, shoot here. But
fuck the True Game podcast. We're talking about Batman podcast right now. That's what we're going to do.
We're just like,
no, it makes so much sense.
He pitched it. He was like, Batman drives a Tesla. I was like, you're a fucking idiot.
Oh, God, it makes sense.
Fuck.
God damn it.
And he was even saying like they should get a thing of like where Elon is in there and Arpat is like, you know, Mr. Musk, I need some help with a battery.
I could see Elon Musk making a cameo appearance. He would totally do that.
He would.
He totally would.
And I was so sold on the car, and then Rob says the Tesla thing. And,
shit.
And I wanna rip into him, but he's right. He's so right, and I hate it because the first stuff, especially because I didn't see it.
It's unfortunate that you two are breaking up. You're no longer together.
Right?
It's like, I can't be friends with you now. You ruined the thing that I liked first,
Innit?
and you've come up with something better.
It's so bad.
Oh, boy.
Anyway, so there you go. I've just ruined the Batmobile for you.
You have ruined it before we even got it. That was probably the one good thing that we've seen so far from that movie, and you've gone and taken it away. Rob has taken it away from us.
The funny thing is, the tumbler we were saying, it sounds so mean. It sounds like there's a lion growling in the engine, right? I found a video of one of these things ripping it through like a Mexican city, I think it was.
Yeah.
And that thing sounds beastly.
The new Batmobile, yeah.
But this is one of the other things. He goes, you know those things get like 2 mpg?
Yeah,
I'm like, wait, no. But it's Batman, so his probably does like 3.
Yeah, I was going to say, he's going to ride it more economically. He's going to go...
like, damn it.
Damn it, Rob.
But it sounds great. And you should definitely watch these videos of them like tearing through streets and stuff. They eat up bumps. Like this thing did like a
trophy. What was it called?
It's a trophy truck.
Trophy truck. That's it. Yeah.
We watched this video. The thing did like an 18-foot jump, and just lands like it.
Crazy.
It's like you going over a speed bump. This thing just boom. Yep, it's fine.
Didn't even feel it. All right. So the thing I was gonna say, the rumor that we've got that we're gonna be talking about here. I want to preface it. It's something that you should take a whole bag of salt with. This is
not even a pinch, but
not even a pinch, a whole fucking
from
bag.
Costco, like a 5 kilo bag of salt.
Yeah, okay. You want to get a discount on this as much.
I'm
as
saying
you can.
this is confirmed.
So there is a possibility that there are 2 PlayStation 5s launching in November.
What?
So this is the rumor that's going around. Apparently, a verified source on NeoGAF. Right?
Okay.
Yeah, you know what I mean. Revealed to a Redditor.
Hold on, before you, because I haven't seen this.
Go on.
Bullshit.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I'm thinking
the
that too.
reason why
Yeah.
is because I believe if they're selling anything and 2 things, you're going to get a base PS5 or a PS5 plus PSVR 2.
Yeah, it's true.
That's the only thing they sell.
Because that would be the logical thing to get people more into that really amazing, that you only have, that Microsoft don't have.
And we've had plenty of reliable sources telling us, like, the Lockhart versus it was Lockhart and Anaconda.
Yeah.
And then Microsoft has been talking about that. We've had none of that from Sony. Doesn't mean it isn't there, but
Or have we?
Okay.
This is the only thing that's made me brought it up. Okay.
I just wanted to lay out where I am at the minute. So let's.
That was exactly where I was until I heard this. So let me put this out and see how you feel. So there's a quote here where one person, the NeoGaf source, is saying, "All right, people, one last time. I've heard there are 2 consoles per company. The mid-gen refreshes are going to be introduced at release so that the consoles can run the entire 7-year life cycle." Xbox Series X was released yesterday. The stats were released yesterday to this
12
post.
teraflops,
And it would be at the top end with 12 teraflops. There is a base Xbox Series X that is slower than that one. Sony is releasing 2 PlayStation models. The base PS5 is 9 teraflops, and there will also be one on the top tier that will compete with the Xbox Series X top dog. So there'll be one up there and one down and whatnot.
Okay.
The only reason why this has come up, 9 teraflops. Have we heard that number before?
Yeah.
We've heard that number as being possibly the power of the PlayStation 5.
Yeah.
We have also heard another number around the 12 to 13 teraflops number that's popping up out of nowhere. How can we have 2 numbers that are so far apart being rumoured at exactly the same time and no one coming out and saying that's fake, that's fake, that's fake, that's fake? Is it possible that there have been 2 consoles going this whole time and no one even thought for a moment that PlayStation had 2 consoles going?
I'll tell you why. Laying it out like that sounds a lot more believable.
Yes.
However, bringing out, so this guy even said it, the mid-gen refresh, which is, so this generation, that was the Xbox One X and the PS4 Pro.
Yes.
Basically, right? Bringing those out at the beginning of the life cycle doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
Because
doesn't for me either.
about halfway into the life cycle, we reckon a console's life cycle is 6 to 8 years, realistically 6. So 3 to 4 years in, you bring out the refresh. Guys like you and me that are looking for a bit more extra stuff, maybe we get it. Bringing it out at the beginning, you lose that audience, and your refresh is now still 3 years old.
Yeah.
You know, so there's less incentive to upgrade to it because it's not new, doesn't feel new.
Yeah. It's still old.
And then realistically, you're still going to have to do the refresh in 3 to 4 years because tech's changing. So it'll be the PS5 Pro Plus in 3 years.
I think the only way that this would work, and I don't think it's going to work, I don't think it's possible, I don't think this is what's going to happen, but if this was a reality, the only way that this would work is if it was like the iPhone, where you knew that it was going to be every September you got a new iPhone.
Yeah.
But imagine this is console generation, so like each September is another generation and whatnot, where you knew there wasn't going to be anything coming out in that mid-gen, where you might go, okay, I'll upgrade to the PS5 Pro or Plus, whatever it might be, because I want something with more power, because I want it for X reason or Y reason. If you buy the base PS5, and 3 years down the line you go, God, I really wish I went for the upgrade version, you're not going to say that out of consoles because historically it's always been a better version that's come out, the mid-gen refresh that comes out. So you're not going to go, okay, I'll buy the PS5 Plus or Pro, whatever it's going to be called, out of worry that you're going to miss out on something that's coming out next week or next month or something like that. If only Sony were to say, and if we were to believe them, that there was going to be no more consoles until PS6, whatever it is. Then I could see them bringing it out, and then they go, regardless of whether you think it's good or not, we're doing this, and that's going to be the thing. Then I could see, all right, in 1 year time, 2 years time, when the price drops by $100, people might go, do you know what? I might upgrade and then get a second swing, a second wave of PS5 owners and whatnot.
Because I don't believe that they wouldn't bring out the mid-gen refresh.
Yeah, I
just
wouldn't believe it.
Right.
That's the only reason, yeah.
I'm forced to get the more powerful one off the bat because 9 teraflops isn't that big of a jump from what we currently have. It's still about double.
For PS5 it is, but from Xbox Series X, isn't it like 6.5 teraflops to 9?
But this is the thing. If I'm going from, let's say I'm going from a base PS4 to a base PS5, it's a fairly big jump. However, I'm coming into next gen. I know what I'm going to be getting on next gen. I'm going to be getting a Cyberpunk remastered. I'm going to be getting a likelihood is, there'll be all sorts of these amazing remasters plus 10 years now of extra incredible games coming out. I want the 12 teraflops.
Yeah.
I feel like I need it for future-proofing. Yeah.
Boy, I'm only thinking that maybe they're trying to do this, if this is true, which again, we're saying it's not, but we're trying to entertain the idea.
Well, I want to know what the price is as well. We need to know what the price is.
I think that's why they might be doing, if they were to be doing it, that they might go, okay, the base PS4 is going to be 9 teraflops, it's going to be way better than what you're getting now, it's going to run all these PS5 games, and they'll show, look, this is running on a base PS5, and it cost $349 or something like that. Yeah. And then they go, my God, that's fantastic, we want that. But then they go, okay, we're also bringing out this other one. This one, however, is $100 more. You get all the bells and whistles, you get extra stuff. If you want, you can get that, and then maybe in the future they drop it $100, and then maybe they get another wave of
The only thing is we're hearing about them having 500 gigabytes hard drive space.
Mate, that was the biggest disappointment. And a lot of people on the last video, they were like, I can't, if they go 500 gigabyte SSD, what the hell?
For the record, and we even said in the video, it could be a split system. These systems have existed for a while, where it's SSD to regular hard drive, and regular hard drive's way cheaper than SSD these days. So it makes sense to have like your OS and a few like highly played games on the SSD, and then transfer the less used stuff to the hard drive, regular hard drive. However,
keep the porn on the regular hard drive,
exactly,
and then everything else is okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So if they're saving money with that amount of hard drive space, which 500 gigabytes is not that much these days.
It's not.
Especially with games getting to the size that they get. With if you have a 110 gigabyte game and it has an 80 gigabyte
like
patch,
Modern Warfare.
like Modern Warfare, exactly. And here's the thing: is that doesn't mean you need 80 gigabytes of extra storage, but it does mean that it has to be at least 80 gigabytes of free space for it to push things where it needs to be to get the patch in.
Yeah.
You know, it's still going to be a 110 gigabyte game at the end, but it needs that amount of space. So realistically, to play these games, you need to have about 50 to 100 gigs free for patches, just in case. So if they're saving money on the hard drive, which I suppose I'm okay with, and bringing out a less powerful processor, I want to really, really save some money here.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to get the lower version of it. It doesn't make sense for future-proofing.
True gamers, the people listening to this podcast, exactly. Yeah.
Then there's the thing that if the price isn't in the right window and it's edging towards gaming rig money, maybe I just get a gaming rig. Because it would make sense. Gaming rigs, as much as we make fun of the XL gamers and the Minesweeper players.
I mean, they deservingly so.
Exactly.
But yeah.
I might build an editing rig, because that would save us time.
Yeah.
You know, and it has all the same requirements, really. Good graphics card, good GPU, good CPU, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And while I'm doing it, maybe I install Microsoft Excel and Minesweeper.
And you can type in all your numbers and your D6 and then you can push up your glasses like I'm doing right now. You guys can't see, obviously.
So if it's getting up to that point, because my big beef with the PlayStation is I can't do my editing on it.
Yeah.
That's the one thing I would like to be able to do. It wouldn't be good to do on it, but you know.
But if you could somehow harness the power that's inside it, the GPU computing power.
Exactly. And the difference between a gaming rig and a console is that I can do other stuff on a gaming rig.
Yeah.
Like watch tutorials on how to better use Microsoft Excel.
Yes, exactly.
You know? And render while I'm rendering videos and stuff.
Exactly. Render a video, you have your Minesweeper and your Excel on the side and whatnot. Pinball, don't forget pinball. They're big on pinball, those guys.
The other thing for streaming as well, like if someone wants to watch a Microsoft stream, you know, an Excel stream or a Paint stream or whatever.
MS Paint, yeah.
Exactly. There's less cables because it's all in the same unit. Whereas me, I'm having to hook my laptop up to my PlayStation, up to my TV.
I have to say, you know, I'm a big fan of my desk, right? I'm a big fan of my desk. It can get messy sometimes because there's a lot of stuff on there.
Your desk is a great setup. It's perfectly spaced. There's not too much room. The cables are relatively well managed. If you guys haven't seen it, we did a desk setup video because as much as it's your desk, it's also kind of like the Conbrosations desk. It's kind of the office space.
I call it the headquarters of HQ.
It's HQ.
Right,
it's
HQ right here.
Yeah.
But there is one side of it that is very tucked away in the corner over there.
Yeah.
I might take a picture and chuck it up on the thing. It's a swarm of cables back there. I've got cable management across the desk and in between the two pillars.
And the back of it, and then down that one side, it's
but
just
that one side, it's just a swarm of cables.
Spaghetti junction down there, isn't it?
And I'm like, oh god, that's why it's in the corner. I never look at it. But if I could get rid of all the console stuff, that'd be even better.
Right.
It would be even better. Anyway, let's move on to our next topic.
Okay.
This one is a big one.
Okay.
So, coronavirus, have you heard of it? It's a new thing.
No, I haven't heard of it.
It was brought over by a good friend in China.
Okay.
It's
Because I don't drink Chinese beers. I drink Stella and stuff.
Oh, I
so
see.
like
You're more of a Stella kind of guy.
That's
I
it.
see. Yeah.
Desperados.
If you was into the Chinese beer Corona,
Right, yeah.
then you would.
Do you know this isn't a joke? Corona's stocks tanked because of this.
It's fucking ridiculous. And have you seen the surveys? They're like 35% of Americans would not drink Corona beer after the coronavirus. Like,
But you know what?
nothing to do with it.
That's the same group of people in America. But it's something ridiculous. Like 40% of them believe that chocolate milk comes from brown cows.
Oh my!
I'm not joking. Google it right now. Google it. I'll talk to the boys. You
Americans,
Google it.
what
I'll
are you
prove
doing?
this is a real thing.
Oh god!
Just
I'm gonna
Google. Do
this
Americans think chocolate milk comes from brown cows or something?
Americans think chocolate.
Look. First thing.
Oh my god!
First
It
thing,
auto
click it.
It auto completes.
According to the survey, 7% of Americans think chocolate milk comes from brown cows, while 48% were unaware of how it was made.
What?
There you go. According to the Washington Post, this equates to roughly 16.4 million adults.
Slightly more than the population of Pennsylvania.
There you go.
My God, America, what is wrong with you people? Oh my God.
But they don't have chavs, so it's like you
So
win
it's a
some,
good
you lose
trade-off.
some,
Yeah,
you know?
exactly. Well, at least they're not as bad as the upside down people down in.
Could you imagine an
made-up
adult
land.
walking out to like a cow pen and being like, "Oh, but I feel like chocolate milk this morning," and going to milk it.
This cow's defective. It's coming out
Get
white.
rid of him. Guess we're having steak for dinner.
Fucking hell, you guys are serious. Anyway, the coronavirus.
Yes.
Taking over everything, destroying everything we know.
True.
Took away our games, took
Yes, it
away meetings with hot girls in clubs.
Finally killed E3.
Finally killing E3. That's what we're going to be talking
Yep.
about. Also, they delayed the James Bond movie because
Yes, they
it got
did.
fucking
Yeah.
ridiculous.
I know.
So, that is the topic that we're going to be talking about today. Will E3 be
You said that
cancelled?
like this is one of our videos, bruv.
Oh yeah, exactly.
We're on a podcast.
We're doing a podcast. There we go. Will E3 be cancelled next year? So this is what's happening today. On the 2nd of March. My apologies. ESA, who run E3, put out a statement saying, we are confident that everything is going forward with E3. Everything's going to plan. We've got a huge list of panels, even though they're dropping numbers by the minute.
Like flies, yeah.
We've got a huge number of publishers coming, blah, blah, blah. Everything's going forward. 2 days later, they came out and they said, Los Angeles has declared a state of emergency and we are having to update our statement. The priority is people's health, and that is our top priority, and we are actively assessing the situation day by day.
Yep.
Basically, what they mean is they're still open.
Yeah.
They're not going to say they're cancelled yet,
Yeah.
but they could be cancelled at any moment because Los Angeles has now declared a state of emergency. The question I want to pitch to you, if they cancel this year, do you think that is the death of E3? Do you think it's possible for them to come back next year?
We did a video, like 2 or 3 weeks ago, about this, where we were saying Sony had pulled out of E3. Sony had pulled out of E3. Somebody else big had pulled out of E3.
Yeah,
Cyberpunk.
Sony...
Was it Cyberpunk?
No, not Cyberpunk. One of the bros will have to let us know, or maybe I'll chuck it up on the screen.
A particularly large name had pulled out of E3, as well as Sony. Mm-hmm. And also Sony had pulled out of some other thing.
GDC and PAX and stuff like that. But that turns out it was because of the coronavirus and now everyone's pulled out of them.
Now,
GDC's cancelled.
I think everyone that pulls out of E3 is going to look at their numbers next year and realise how much of a hit they didn't take and say, fuck it. And I think I said that a few weeks ago on the day when we were talking about it. And I said, why would you go to E3? Because how would we then got into how we would fix E3 because it has all these issues. And I'm saying, like, for example, if I'm Nintendo, I don't see the point of going to E3. I'd do a Nintendo stream, right?
Yeah, they would. I mean, they've got their own Nintendo Direct. That's what
YouTube, and they know if they post anything to YouTube, all the games journals are going to talk about it anyway. They get all the same publicity. So I don't think so. And Jason Schreier, maybe a week ago, came out and said basically what we said, which was, I think these guys the guys that pulled out are going to see how much of a difference it didn't make, and say, well, why should we go anyway then?
That's the thing, because for the longest time, the ESA have had like a kind of not a monopoly, because there are other conventions, but E3 is regarded as the top dog.
Yeah.
And they've kind of like, no one's asked the question because they're too scared to, because it could be a massive PR hitch if you go, what about if we don't go to E3?
Yeah.
But this time they're kind of being forced to, out of health reasons. If they all pull out, and then they all do their own streams, and then they see, okay, how much of a difference did it make? Oh, it actually only made 2% of a difference, and we saved how much? That many $1 million. Well, next year. We'll see you later. Sorry, goodbye.
I'll
You
tell
have
you
your
what,
own
though.
convention over there.
I think this doesn't work. I think nothing killed E3 except for two things: E3
Yes.
and Sony.
Yes.
Sony made a masterful move, and again, I'm going to pat myself on the back here. I was one.
I'll do it for you, bro.
Thank
Don't
you,
worry,
bro. I was one of the only people that said this could be a brilliant move, and it worked out to be. It did turn out to be a great move last year. Seeing that a name like Sony can pull out of E3 and increase their attention that they got shows everybody else that actually you can. It's kind of like Brexit in a way. It was Sonexit, if you will, right?
Sonexit. There you go.
Once you see that a big player can leave and nothing bad really happened, then you can look at it and say, well, do we benefit from coming here? And then you just look at the numbers. I don't think any other company could have, let's say some small mid-tier company.
Yeah, it couldn't have been a Square Enix. Well, like, Square Enix, bro.
I feel like Square Enix couldn't have just pulled out and gone, we'll do our own thing. But seeing now that because Sony pulled out, we're all saying, oh, well, that's right. Maybe if someone's not going to E3, I'll have to go and look for the information myself. And then seeing that people do that has proved that the rest of them can leave. But it wouldn't have worked. Like, I don't think it would have worked if it was Microsoft. I think it had to be Sony and it had to be played right.
Microsoft tried it, and they tried it in the most loose, least confident way possible. They were like, we're not going to be at E3. We are going to be across the road from E3 at the same time. It's like...
So you're at E3, aren't you? You're still bringing foot traffic to E3.
You're not giving them the ESA the money, but you want people to... You want to siphon off of their thing.
Right, exactly.
You didn't do anything there.
It was the putting your toe in the water sort of thing, where Sony jumped in and turned out, you can have fun in the pool sort of deal.
Oh, I float.
Cannonball!
Yeah, exactly.
You know? But it had to be done right. Like, I think if Sony had pulled out and it had gone poorly, it would have established that you have to be at E3. Yeah. But the fact that they did it and proved that it could be done... And look, I don't think E3 is right for everybody. I don't think Nintendo should be there.
Yeah.
And that's not because I don't love Nintendo. It's because I do love Nintendo that I know that their audience doesn't give a fuck if they're at E3. Do a live stream.
Doom Eternal is coming out the same day as Animal Crossing. Yeah. And when I look on the internet, I see people are like...
It's just memes. It's
just
all
people
memes.
are like, Doom Eternal, I'm so happy for this. And then there's other side of people who are clearly the Nintendo people. They're like, yes, Animal Crossing, I can't wait to jump on people's islands.
Have you seen the Doom Eternal Animal Crossing memes?
Just together. Just mixing
this
is
Doom
great.
guy teaching this one dude how to load shotguns and stuff. and the point is like, I don't play Animal Crossing. It's not my thing.
No.
The guys that do, though, they're hardcore.
Yes.
That's all they care about. That's all they want. That's why it's a Nintendo thing, right? We've said forever, Nintendo doesn't belong in the quote-unquote console discussion because Nintendo is a league of its own. It plays by its own rules. It knows exactly who its audience is. It caters to exactly who its audience is, and it does everything that it needs to do.
It's like when you're talking about really beautiful women, and then you talk about Mila Kunis. You're like, okay, that's a different.
Yeah, exactly.
You got a different thing over here.
Like, oh, have you seen this model? Yeah, she's gorgeous, but have you seen Ana de Armas?
Have you?
Right, like it's not
really.
Like, and we're like, yeah, but we were talking about this random chick.
Yeah, we're talking about this is a beautiful girl over here. No, we're talking about this other, completely other thing.
Exactly. It's like it's like different planets.
Yes.
Same sort of deal. Like it's a big deal if you're on Mars and the people are talking about Earth. You're like, no, we're on Mars.
Yes.
We don't talk about Earth. We're on Mars. It's not fair to talk about. There's no oceans here.
All right. Yeah. So a quick yes or no. What do you think is going to happen? Do you think if they cancel this year because of the coronavirus, do you think next year they come back?
I think they come back. I think it's that slow, it's that dead cat bounce type deal. It's just that slow roll into like just fuck it. We don't have enough. We haven't sold enough tickets. I guess we have to refund anybody and cancel. I think that's the way E3 is going.
I think it's
because they won't make the changes that we've said. Yeah. Like I think E3, we've said it before, should do a year where they just break even.
Yeah,
Everybody should get paid
for their own good.
Yeah,
they should.
Everybody should get paid, and every single penny should go to more doors, shortening queue times, getting people more space, and sick parties so that guys like Ninja and Tim the Tatman and who's big on YouTube for gaming, I don't know.
Oh god, I don't remember anymore.
Us.
Us. There you go. We're true gamers. Right. We've got our own podcast.
Exactly.
Do they not know about
those
us? Do they
giant
know who we
dudes
are?
come away and flood social media with like, dude, this E3 party. If you weren't here, you missed out on the party of the year. You missed out on the gaming thing of the year. This was so much fun. That's how I would do it. That's how I would do it, and you just make it such an amazingly good time that. What do you mean you're going to miss out on E3? How could you possibly miss out on E3?
How could you?
It's the best event of the year.
Yeah.
You know, it needs to be up there when people talk about, what's that stupid Burning Man?
Yeah.
People need to talk about E3 that same way. Or it dies.
Or Fire Festival.
It's got to be, it's just got to be amazing. And so I think a year or two where they just sort of break it. Everybody gets paid, but they don't like the quote unquote don't make any money. Mate.
That would be the way to do it. I think you guys should also tweet the ESA this video. Should send this audio podcast.
Obviously, they need to start from the beginning to get context.
Yeah, start from the beginning of the show and of the True Gamer podcast as well, from episode 1.
Everybody should log in with their own personal accounts. Yes. Of course, you need to like, because otherwise the video will stop halfway through.
Exactly. You should also head over to your podcast services and also give us a 5-star rating over there. Apparently, that really helps as well.
That's good. And if you're new, the Discord's brilliant.
That as well, yeah.
And if you'd love to get your name read out.
Oh yeah, head over to patreon.com/Conbrosations. That's the one. Great place to be. $5.
Wait, which slash? You just said slash. / or backslash?
Oh my god, I'm so sorry.
Conversations / conversation. It doesn't work.
We're gonna get tweets now. I tried backslash and nothing worked.
I'm trying it.
How are we gonna do it? Go on, you try it. All right, let me intro our next topic. Our next topic.
How many topics have we got?
This is the last one we're gonna be talking about.
Check Audacity. How long have we been going?
I'm probably going for like a while here. Let's see.
It hasn't been recording. Fuck.
Shit, we didn't record anything. God damn it. All right, so this is our last topic. It's a fairly meaty one, though. I will give you that. So, let me pull up this document again. Yeah,
it looks so gross with the backslash.
Does it?
It just looks wrong. It feels wrong.
Oh, it still comes up with our finger, though.
It took us to a Google thing.
Yeah, a Google search of it, and it comes up with ours as the first.
Oh, it looks
result.
so ugly with the backslash. Don't try it.
Are you subbed it? You're not even subbed to us.
I'm not
what the
even
hell?
subbed.
Give us money and pay tax on top of that. I know. Lose money every month, okay? Anyway, so our next topic, our final topic, is going to be about the Xbox Series X specs.
Okay.
I will say that any day now we could be getting the PlayStation 5 specs.
We should do.
When it happens, I want everyone to know we're going to be doing a dedicated video on it. Yeah. We're going to do it. We might even do a dedicated podcast on it if it comes up, so we can have a nice meaty discussion about it.
I mean, we've beat this horse. It's pretty dead, but there's still some life in it. I saw a twitch, and I'm willing to throw some Hail Marys at it.
Oh, God damn it. But anyway, Xbox Series X, Microsoft came out, officially announced all of their results, all of their specs and whatnot, and we're going to talk a little bit about them here.
These are their official numbers. These aren't benchmark tests.
These are official ones that they've come out with and whatnot. So they're talking about all the features that it's going to have and some of the tech specs and whatnot behind it. I'm going to go through, there's a couple of chunks I'm going to read out. Yeah. You tell me what you feel about them, and we'll talk at the end what the bros at home, the true gamers, feel like to be the best ones, because I did a survey as well, poll and whatnot. Okay, so it starts off and they say that they've got a brand new next generation custom processor, which is going to be the most powerful console that Xbox has ever produced, leveraging AMD's latest Zen 2 RDNA 2 architectures. Fancy stuff.
These are words that I remember hearing also from Sony, so I don't know how different these processors are, but amazing stuff.
Amazing stuff.
Leading the way.
Delivering 4 times the processing power of any Xbox One and enabling developers to leverage 12 teraflops of GPU performance. That's a big number right
12
there.
is many flops.
Many flops. Could you imagine that much flops on you?
If I had that much floppage.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh, all the ladies right there. What's going on?
But I wouldn't have time for them because of all the gaming.
Exactly, we're true gamers here at the True Gamer Podcast. That's right. The next one goes variable rate shading, VRS for short. Our patented form of VRS empowers developers to more efficiently utilize the full power of the Xbox Series X rather than spending GPU cycles uniformly to every single pixel on the screen. They prioritize individual effects on specific game characters and important environmental objects. Basically, a fancy way of saying great shading is what we're going to have on here.
It sounded similar to ray tracing anyway.
Yeah, and that's the next one actually. It says here, it goes, hardware accelerated DirectX ray tracing. You can expect more dynamic and realistic environments powered by hardware accelerated DirectX ray tracing. Right there. So how do you feel about those right there? They're very hardware based, those points there.
The funny thing is, I feel like as long as we're keeping the same code, because this was the big deal going from PS3 to PS4. That's why we made such a big leap.
Yeah.
Because power's not all that important. It's how it gets put down. Like if you have an engine in a car that makes 700 horsepower, but it can only get 100 of it to the wheels on the ground, then it doesn't matter how much the engine makes. It matters that what you can get out of it. It's just not very fast. Same sort of deal. Like earlier we were talking about the Ghost of Tsushima. I'm
never going to get it right. Don't even look at me to try and correct you.
Blank.
Yeah.
And that's still on current generation, and we saw what it looked like.
Yeah.
And it's not because of the power, because the power is knackered.
Yes.
You know, it's because of how efficient people are with the code now. You know, and just
how optimized everything
exactly.
is.
So well optimized. The guys know how to get the most out of it so well that as long as we get an upgrade in power, if we keep the same code, great.
If we've got the same tricks for those codes, and
Exactly.
it will still work.
Exactly.
And efficiency. That's the thing that really gets me, because a lot of people are talking about the power of the Xbox One and whatnot. One of the main reasons why I don't own a PC is because I don't like how poorly optimized Windows is. Windows very bloated.
So bloated.
It's so bloated. And the thing is, that's what the Xbox One is running. A modified version of it, but that's what it's running. And people tell me that it lags and stuff like that. I think James mentioned it on the As Always podcast. You guys should check them out as well. Patreon.com/AsAlways.
Only $1 though. Don't be spending too much money.
Don't
over
go
there.
too far with that. You might want to come over to us for that, for the true gamer content. But he was talking about how like it lags and it stutters and whatnot. When he plays on PS4, he sees everything's great and whatnot.
Yeah.
And it is because of that bloated software. The PS4 has such optimized great OS that the more power it is, that's going to be great. With the Xbox, however, they've got so much power. It's a bit like Android versus iOS and whatnot.
I actually believe the rumor. So one of the rumors we heard about the power stuff was that the Xbox has more power. It's got the better hardware, but the PS5 was running things as good or better.
Yeah.
And I actually believe that one.
Yeah.
And for the record, I don't particularly care which is the most powerful. They'll be within a range. Like the PS3 was a little bit more powerful than the 360. It was at like 10 or 15%.
Yeah.
But it had such terrible coding that it
suffered in every way.
I had both consoles. The 360 was by far the better console.
Yeah.
As long as it's within a range, you know, the power's not the big deal. It's what has the better code. And even though the coding for games might be fine on the Xbox, Windows, man.
Yeah.
I really genuinely worry about it. And there's no way they'll use like a Linux system or something like that.
No
There's no way
in hell.
they're going away
Could
from
you
it.
imagine Microsoft going, we're going to use a different OS. We're actually not going to do Windows.
What I might do is just reskin Windows 95. You know? It doesn't have to do much. We just have
need
to
it to
turn
run.
on and play the games, man.
Exactly. And there was a funny tweet as well I put out. When the old HBO Last of Us thing came up and then Ghost of Tsushima came up, it took over Twitter.
Yeah.
Everything was all about that. And it was in the top trending tab and it was hundreds and thousands of people talking about it. And I'd screenshot. One of the Sony insiders that I follow tweeted it and he was like, how many teraflops is that Xbox? And just took a picture of how many people are talking about stuff.
Yeah.
And I posted a picture of Sir Patrick Stewart with his embarrassed face like, James said it was like, it's not about what you've got, it's about the games that you're going to put on this thing. And it might have great games as well, but PlayStation have proved that they've got the good games.
If the difference is 12 teraflops on Xbox to 11 teraflops on the PS5, for example, but I'm getting games like The Last of Us, I'm getting games like God of War, Ghosts in Japan.
In Japan, yes. Samurai times.
Exactly.
Yes.
That's going to make the difference.
Yeah.
And as much as I love Halo, and I do love Halo.
You do love that MasterChef.
I do love MasterChef. Halo on its own isn't enough to get me back onto Xbox, especially because it's had some shitty installments.
Yeah, you've said to me, but I don't know obviously, but you've told me.
A few of them are shitty, and they tried this weird little like RTS game. It was like top down, like a mobile game. Yeah, there's just so much bad stuff, and then Halo 4 sucked so bad.
Tyler said the same thing. Now Tyler isn't a true gamer, as we know.
He has the right opinions about Halo, though.
He's right. Exactly. He
Reach
did come
is
out
good.
and he goes,
Halo's 1 to 3 and Reach are good.
Yeah.
Everything else sucks.
Yeah. Like Tyler, he does suck.
True, but he's upside down most of the time.
Exactly. We've got to give him... This is the thing. I want to bag on him, but sometimes it's
All
like
that
fighting a
blood rushing to his
retarded
head.
kid. Oh, it's like fighting a retarded
Do you know what we
kid.
should
You
do?
can't do that.
We should do a stream. We'll just invert the things and we'll lie upside down on the
Hello,
chairs.
gamers. I'm here. My name's T Dynamite, the AC follower.
I think, like, we'll put our legs up on the back of the sofa and play upside down, and then we'll be able to feel what he feels when he games.
Like. God, there we go.
That's the thing in Australia. Do you think they mount the TVs the right way up or upside down?
Oh, good question.
Do you know what I mean?
We should tweet him and ask him.
We should.
We should.
In fact, if you boys tweet him and ask him.
Tweet him and ask and tell him that the True Gamer podcast wants to know what is it that you guys do over there.
How do you mount your TVs?
Yeah.
Right way up, so that's the way the show is intended, or upside down so you can see it.
All right, let's move on to the next set of specs that they announced.
Oh fuck, we haven't finished the specs.
We haven't finished the specs yet. He goes, this next part is called immersion in an instant. It's all about making things go faster, and they've looked at every aspect in between a person wanting to play a game and actually the game started to make it faster. And they go,
So they're keeping the shit controllers then?
basically. Sorry, Phil.
Again, I grew up on Xbox as well, right? Those controllers aren't as good.
They're
The PS3 ones were too small, I will say.
Oh
that.
my god. I never realised it until obviously because I grew up on PlayStation. I saw it. And then I was like, when we got the DS4, I was like, why was this not the standard the whole time?
Have you ever picked up your PS1 controllers? I had to move my PS1s the other day. Those things are tiny.
It's like, okay, what do I do here?
Yeah, it's bad. Anyway, tell me these specs.
So, SSD storage. With our next generation SSD, nearly every aspect of playing games is improved. Game worlds are larger, more dynamic, and load in a flash. And the fast travel is just that, fast. So, that's one good thing that I think we can all agree on.
I think we can all agree SSDs are a good way to go. It's the ideal form of memory.
They say next generation SSD, whereas PlayStation, when they talk, they say proprietary SSD. I'm sure they mean the same
SSD,
thing.
as long as it's reliable and my saves don't get deleted, I don't give a fuck.
Exactly.
As long as it's faster than regular hard drives, I don't care.
I'm a bit of a tech nerd when it comes to it because I like Macs and whatnot.
Yes.
And they have PCIe architecture in here. I want to know what the difference is between that because this is really fast in Macs. So
it is very fast.
Hopefully we get to see Digital Foundry. They do all that kind of stuff.
I will say the one thing that bothers me, and again, I've said this for ages now, they said specifically, quote, game worlds are larger. Now, games are already very big.
Yeah.
And I have said a few times I would rather that the game was 50 hours of play and had 10 different ways to play it than one 500-hour game.
Yeah. I rather that's for the developers to hear you. Hopefully the developers understand that we don't want just bigger, we want more quality in that and more able to play it and whatnot.
Because now we have enough quantity. Quantity isn't the problem. Now it's quality. Quality is the issue.
But at least they're giving them the option. They go, okay, we give you the tech, you can do this, but you don't have to. It's up to you. So
exactly.
Developer choose. Quick resume. This is actually a really good one.
Yeah.
So we've had the rest mode on PS4 and whatnot. It works beautifully. It's actually the best thing in the world. I never knew I had needed this until it happened.
Because I actually didn't know it came in. It came in a patch. And you
said, it was like 2.0 or something like that.
Yeah, and you told me about it. And I was like, okay, I'll just do it because you said to do it. And the first time I used it, I pressed the PlayStation button. And you said, and this is what I felt. Before I was comfy, I was back in the game. Before I'd sat down and got comfy. And I was sitting down moving my stuff. And I think I was actually playing The Last of Us Remastered. And it pops up. I'm like, wait, what? Wait, I'm not ready.
I'm not ready. I'm not ready.
What? Yeah, I haven't got myself situated. I'm not prepared yet.
Yeah. So this is that plus more.
Yeah.
So this one goes... a new quick resume feature that lets you continue multiple games from a suspended state almost instantly, returning to where you were and what you were doing without waiting through long loading screens.
That's badass, and that's where the SSD really comes in.
Yes.
That's the point of the SSD. That's cool. I love the idea. I love the idea of having Death Stranding going and The Last of Us and God of War 6.
Yeah.
5.
A ton of... I love that a lot. Dano, one of our bros, one of our
long time
gamers.
OG
Exactly,
true gamers.
Long time. He said to me, because I didn't understand it fully when I was like, I don't get it. Multiple... And he goes to me, just think of it like multiple tabs in Chrome.
Yeah.
It's just like bang, bang, bang. They're all there waiting for you. I was like, wow!
Exactly. You got
that's
RedTube,
amazing.
X-Hamster and Pornhub. You just click between.
Exactly. You open up like 6 or 7 tabs of all your porn and then blow your load on the first one.
Obviously.
But yeah, that's how he described it to me.
That is a great way of thinking about it as well. And it is cool to just be like, I'm halfway through Death Stranding, but I'm not really feeling it today. I think I want to play insert other title and just pick it straight back up.
And I will say, this is probably where digital gaming is going to be best.
Yeah.
Because obviously you'd have to change discs if you want to change the game. You can't just suspend it and then
put
that
that NVIDIA thing you've been jamming?
So that I've been playing a lot of that. Those of you guys that don't know, I've been trying out NVIDIA GeForce Now, which is a streaming service from NVIDIA. It's $4.99 at the moment. Okay. I've heard rumours that they might go up outside of their... So they've officially launched, but there's a Founders Pack. A bit like how Stadia's got their Founders Edition.
But so unlike Stadia, this actually works.
Yes, exactly. Okay. Fantastically.
Okay, cool.
And it's all your own games that you have on Steam and stuff like that. Not like through the only issue is there's issues with publishers. They're taking games off of it because GeForce isn't paying them to be there.
Yeah.
Whereas any other game store, they're not. No one's paying them to be there. They just want more money. Publishers being greedy. That's what it is.
Frick 'em.
Fucking, it's absolutely terrible because you're stifling an amazing technology, actually. But anyway, that's where I think digital would be good, because then you could immediately go, okay, I'm gonna go to this game, go to that game, go to that game. Whereas if you have him on disc, then you have to be like, okay, I have to put in the next disc. Yeah. But hey, we'll see how that goes. That's actually
cool.
a really good feature.
That is cool. I like that a lot.
Dynamic latency input, DLI for short. We're optimizing latency in the player to console pipeline, starting with the Xbox wireless controller, which leverages our high bandwidth proprietary wireless technology protocol, blah, blah, blah. Basically, they're just bringing the input lag down to nothing.
Because this is the thing, like, with the current generation of consoles, so you have, what's your internet? It's insane, isn't it? It's the Virgin
it's like 400 meg.
Thing. Yeah. PlayStation can't make the most of that.
No,
even the PS4 Pro.
That's what I want them to upgrade.
Yeah.
I run mine everything Ethernet. That's why I love everything. Anything that doesn't have an Ethernet port, then I go wireless.
Yeah.
For the PlayStation, I do the test and it's like 100 megs. I'm like, I have 400. Use the whole thing, damn it.
Exactly.
I'm a true gamer.
It's the bottleneck, and I'm on the base PS4. It gets like 15 on a good day, and I have more than that. You know, so. And mate, if you go wireless, oof. It comes down to like 4 or 5, plus the lag between that and your inputting to the console, then the console updating to the service and stuff. So that's really where... Now, that doesn't make a big deal if you're playing something like The Witcher.
Yes.
You know?
Now, they did say between the controller as well, so that's very good that they've made the reaction times a lot better and whatnot. But I didn't notice it in the first place.
I want fiber optic wired controllers. That's what I want. If I'm looking to, it's the same sort of deal as console to mouse and keyboard. One of the other reasons that mouse and keyboard is a more efficient system for things like first person shooters, you're right there.
Yeah.
And as much as it's cool to have all this wireless tech, there's a latency issue there. If I was an epic gamer, you know, if I was actually making money playing Call of Duty...
If you was, but you're inverted, so you're not.
Exactly. But if I was going to tournaments and stuff, I wouldn't want a wireless controller.
Tournament players always play wired controllers.
Exactly.
Because they just know about... They need every edge they can.
Exactly.
There is the other side to this, though, is that console gaming, we're supposed to be more relaxed. We're supposed to be chilled back. We're supposed to be like, okay...
Does everybody know the console gaming crowd? Are you kidding?
It's true. We're supposed to be like... the way that...
Relatively casual,
The way that they have us is like, we just sit back on a couch and we just lay back, and then with one hand we're playing on a controller, so we want wireless. That's the way they see
I think
us.
you're right. I feel like the suits think anyone that plays on a PC is making money at tournaments.
Yes.
Anyone that plays on a console is just a stoner. And then whoever buys Nintendo is just a mum looking to get 20 minutes of exercise.
Speaking of stoner, so it was the 20th anniversary of the PlayStation 2 the other day.
Yes.
And two things I only realised about that today. Well, one thing I only realised about today is that the PS2 logo, the PlayStation logo on the front disk drive, you could flip it to turn it regarding which way you're...
right way up.
So if you're vertical, you put it up. If you're laying it flat, never knew that.
No, I
And
didn't
two,
know.
did you know about the little box, the expansion bay at the back? There's a flap that you can open up. The expansion bay was so you could put hard drives in there. I knew about that spot, and I did know about this. Didn't do it myself, but that spot used to be used almost 100% of the time by stoners to hide their weed.
I did not know about it, and now I feel like I missed out on my childhood.
I've got friends that all smoke weed, especially back in the day and whatnot, and that is where they would hide their thing. I'm like,
I didn't know
shout
about
out to
that.
the PS2 for being a weed smuggling spot.
I didn't know about that, and that makes me love... I actually genuinely believe the PS2 is the greatest console of all time.
Greatest one.
As much as I love the N64 as well, and the PS4 is great, and we've had some amazing titles and blah, blah, blah. But... And it's the same thing with, like, what's your favourite Call of Duty? And for most people, it's the one they started on, right?
Yeah.
One of those sorts of deals. It's the one you have the most fun on that's your favourite, even if it's the worst one. Like, I like Black Ops 1 because it's the one you, me, and the boys had the most time on, and we had the most fun on, despite the fact that actually, as a multiplayer, it's got some serious issues.
And you spent most of that time playing that game punching yourself in the balls by playing on a double-barrel shotgun.
Which didn't work and had all those hit registration problems. But that's the COD I had the most fun on. And I feel like the PS2 is my purest years of gaming. You know, it's like the worst thing you would ever have in life was you got told off for not doing your homework, and then you went out to break time and had orange juice and played football and stuff, right? Yeah. It was that time playing like Final Fantasy and shit like that. And now it makes me love that console even more. And I missed out on one of the things I could have had fun with it.
Yeah.
Damn it, I wish I had a weed story.
There you go.
Oh, well.
You could have had it.
That's
You could have
cool.
had it. So the next thing that they mention here is a HDMI 2.1 innovation. I'm not going to go through all this. Basically, what they've trying to do here is they've worked out variable refresh rates and ways to communicate with the TV or monitor that you're working with. So if you have a monitor that has, if it's a gaming monitor, then it will sync them perfectly together. So there's no screen tearing, no dropped frames, anything like that. So you can get the perfect experience.
I just want to say that is great, and anybody that does the old, but the human eye can only see up to 24, you frick off.
Mate, they can only, as I got in a fake argument with a guy on Twitter. Like I posted, I was like, the human eye can only see about 30 frames per second anyway. That's why consoles are the best. And then he's like, are you joking? And I just carried on the bit, and I was like, mate, it's pointless. You don't want to go anything beyond
just wasting power,
just wasting
Speed
power.
limit 70. What's the point of having a Ferrari that'll do 200 miles an hour?
Oh god, he really got into it. Anyway, the next one, it says 120 FPS support. With the support of 120 FPS, the Xbox Series X allows developers to exceed standard 60 FPS output in favor of a heightened realism and fast-paced action. That's really cool.
That is cool.
I wonder how many games would actually utilize it.
Not many, and to be honest, the only thing in terms of like frame rate and stuff that I'm looking forward to is having the option to affect my stats. So you turn the render distance up or down, and turn my frame rates down, turn my textures down. I want that on console gaming. It's just one of the things we've been lacking, and for me, that functionally does the same thing anyway. You know, if I turn all my textures down on, like, say, Fortnite, where I don't care about the graphics, I get a better frame rate because of that.
Yeah.
I don't need more power. I can turn certain things down or up, whichever. But
I think this is another one of those cases, a bit like the 8K thing and whatnot, where the what was the other thing we said about the worlds being as big as possible?
Yeah.
I think it's giving the developers everything they need, and then they choose what to do.
Yeah.
I don't think there's going to be many people that go beyond 60 FPS because we've only really just sort of started to get a handle on 60 FPS. I think if we see ourselves perfectly into that, get everything on a solid 60 FPS, that will be a win for us, I think.
I definitely like that. I like the idea of giving the devs everything, all the tools that they can use, and then they decide what tools they want to play with.
Yeah.
Like, my idea of having a 50-hour game that you can play 10 different ways versus a 500-hour game, I would hate for people to take that to heart, and then the most amazing game ever that happens to be a 500-hour game never gets made because they're all saying, no, you need a 50-hour game that can be played different ways.
Yeah.
So I like the idea of giving devs as much room to play and then seeing what they come up with.
Yeah, that's the way you do it. I mean, it's the way that the iPhone became so huge. It was like, we're making this amazing tech. Developers, make your apps for it, and then the App Store fucking spawned and it became this big thing. Cool. All right, the next part, this is the final part now. The next part is about the next generation of games and compatibility. So it's all about backwards compatibility and stuff like that. 4 generations of gaming. Our commitment to compatibility means existing Xbox One games, including backwards compatible 360 and original Xbox games, look and play even better. Play better than ever before. Your favourite games, including titles in Xbox Game Pass, benefit from steadier frame rates, faster load times, and improved resolution and visual fidelity. All with no developer work required. Your Xbox One gaming accessories also come forward with you. So that's really cool.
That is cool.
All the games that are running on Xbox backwards compatibility.
Original Halo, hells yeah, on a $700 piece of equipment.
Could you imagine? So there was this YouTube channel, I can't remember what it was called, but they were playing an old game and they were just running it on an emulator or something like that on a PC. But it was a very old game and it must have had an unlocked frame rate on it or something like that. And they ran it on a new computer, something really powerful. And in the top corner there was the frame rate counter, and it went into like the 100,000s because it was like, oh my god, so many frames. I can imagine that happening.
We are at a point where something like the original Halo could be played easily as like a flash game.
Yeah.
You remember back in the day when you were in school and you play that helicopter game?
Yes.
That sort of shit. You can play, emulators will play this stuff in your browser easily.
That's the only thing, because it's such a huge business for Xbox to keep their software and their emulators and stuff like that to themselves and attack anybody who tries to do it. That's the only reason why we don't get it. If we could, that'd be great. The next one, smart delivery. Yep. This one's a big one here. So smart delivery. This technology empowers you to buy a game once and know that wherever you're playing it, whether it be on an Xbox One or Series X, you are getting the right version of that game on whatever Xbox you're playing on. We're making the commitment to use smart delivery on all of our Xbox Game Studio titles, that one specifically there, including Halo Infinite, ensuring you only have to purchase the title once in order to play the best available version for whichever Xbox console they choose to play on. This technology is available for all developers and publishers, and they can choose to use it for their titles that will be released on Xbox One first, or coming later to Xbox, or coming to Xbox Series X later. So this was a big one. People immediately, when they heard this, they misunderstood it. They thought they were going to be like, I can buy my Xbox One version of any game, and then when I put it in the Xbox Series X, I get the Xbox Series X version. For Xbox Studio titles, that is 100% true. That's Microsoft's commitment they're making for their console.
So you can get your original Halo disc, put it in.
Yes.
And
slightly different. So not the original Halo disc. So it's any Xbox One game that you buy.
Xbox One game. Okay.
They're updating all of their games. Cool. And you're going to get the free update. Even if it's a future game that's coming out, you get it for the next one. But this isn't the case for every third-party game.
No.
The next Call of Duty game isn't going to have this feature unless Activision choose to do that.
Of course, Activision's going to give you back some
Activision,
money.
they always give him money.
Good guy,
out.
Activision,
I think I went past them and they just went, hey, bro, you want $5?
Here you go. No, I think this was a big deal because CD Projekt Red came out and they said, we're absolutely doing this. But that's CD Projekt Red. And again, they're like a Nintendo. They're a different kettle of fish.
The thing that really got me about that was, and I don't know if CD Projekt Red were intending to do this or whatnot, the way they came out and said it was almost like they were like, we've partnered up with Microsoft and we're going to be doing it. However, what they were really saying was, actually, guys, everyone else in the gaming scene, all the other publishers and whatnot, no customer should have to pay twice for the same game.
They weren't talking to Microsoft. They were talking to other developers and saying you should really be looking after your things. What they actually did was say, you remember when you opened up the Witch case and got that thank you note from us? Well, that's because we like you. We care about you. And like in that note, we couldn't do this without you. We believe it. We're going if you buy our game, you get to play our game. It doesn't matter what you're playing on. You have the game. You should be able to play it.
Yeah.
And I just love CD Projekt Red, man.
I love them. They did fantastic.
Don't frick up Cyberpunk.
Please don't, please. Oh, we're waiting so much for that game. Oh, God.
I think that's everything. And just some more updates on
they were talking about
Pass.
Xbox Game Pass in addition to games. So, they were going to have 4 generations of console games, of all their console games available on Xbox Game Pass. That's going to be fantastic. A lot of original Halo games on that you're going to be able to play again. Maybe I can play those games as well and find out what it is about Master Chef you like.
You should be able to play the first 3 at least. Halos 1 to 3 are brilliant. They're so good, and especially with the Master Chief, the update where you don't have to play the original.
The Master Chief Collection. Yeah.
You don't have to play the original Xbox One. The original Xbox.
The original Xbox One.
I love that game. I do love Halo, but God, it looked trash.
Yeah,
it looked bad.
I'm just thinking of GoldenEye.
Yeah, it was clunky. It was a very similar era as well, so it was very clunky.
I made you've seen the intro to this show that we've put up. It's funny you're mentioning it at the end of the show and whatnot, but the intro to the show, I was like, I'm gonna get iconic games from different generations to put in the intro and whatnot. Have to put GoldenEye. Ooh, is that what GoldenEye looks like? Yeah. God, it does look like that, doesn't it? Ooh, boy.
Yeah. I know, and I love that game. It's a nostalgia thing. But I'm never going to play it.
Yes.
Because we played it that one time at that CAF.
Yeah.
Man, I love the N64, but it should remain in the past, you know? Yeah. Like, you wouldn't want to bring back... There are some things you don't want to bring back. Like, if you could go back in time, maybe you try some fancy foods or something.
Yeah.
You don't bring Napoleon back with you. It's like you don't bring some things back. They stay in the past.
Yeah.
And I think the N64 needs to stay there and always be spoken about with reverence. It's like that grandfather, like, oh, my elders, all these wise words, Don't go back and play Star Fox. Because Do a Barrel is a great meme, but if you go back and look at what you were playing, it is garbage.
Ruins it for you. Oh, bro. All right, that's all of the topics that I thought we could talk about today on the True Gamer podcast. It's
True
been
Gaming.
Actually fantastic. Yeah. I feel like. It's been a great first episode. Let us know, bros, how you feel about this episode, whether there's any improvements, any feedback you want to give us. You can head over to our Discord server. That'll be in the show notes, in the description, wherever you guys are watching this, reading this, listening to this. Not reading, listening to this.
Reading it, yeah?
Are you reading the podcast?
Yeah.
There might be
it's on your Kindle, yeah?
It's on your Kindle. Get it out. There we go. He's on the train and whatnot with coronavirus around him. It's not gonna. If you guys are watching this on YouTube, do remember to leave us a like, hit that subscribe button if you're new around here. If you're listening to us on a podcast service around the world, please give us a rating. 5 stars and above really helps us out. It helps us track and stuff like that. Sorry,
you said 5 stars and above.
I'm gonna say only give us 5 stars and above. Okay, it only goes up to 5. Give us 5-star ratings. It means the world to us, and it helps us track better in podcast tracking stuff and whatnot. And if you guys are on Patreon and whatnot, you guys really help us out. And if you want to support us out on Patreon, be a true gamer, go ahead and do that.
Yeah, but it's only dollars, not dollary dues. So Ty,
sorry about that.
Yeah, sorry about that.
That's actually why we couldn't accept his money. He tried to give us money, and we was like, no.
Yeah, it's like someone tries to donate you Monopoly money. It's like when a kid gives you that plastic phone and you answer, you're like, oh, hello.
Here we go. Hello, yeah, ooh, yeah. I'm on
toy
the phone,
money is
that's the way we do it with him. God, he's an idiot. Anyway, thanks a lot for joining us, bros. We will see you next time. Probably the next one will be the Conbrosations podcast.
Yes.
Don't forget to check out the movie club and anime club as well.
That's right.
We're doing right now. Awesome stuff happening there, and we'll see you in the next one.
We'll see you in the next one.
Let me shake your hand, bro. I know people can't see it, but
they can't. But maybe they heard this.
Maybe they heard. Ah, there you go. That's what they heard. All right, check you guys later.